Mexico in 1979 was loud, ambitious, emotional, oil-powered, and permanently in motion. The country welcomed a pope, discovered the complicated side of petroleum wealth, hosted global sporting events, and expanded its cultural confidence onto the world stage. 1 minute, mariachi crowds. Next minute, geopolitical energy negotiations. Basically, Mexico spent 1979 acting like the main character. And honestly, fair enough. In 1979, Mexico City hosted the Summer Universiade, welcoming thousands of student-athletes from around the globe. Think Olympics, but with more engineering majors and fewer endorsement deals. The event showcased Mexico as modern, youthful, and internationally connected, all at high altitude, where even breathing became a competitive sport. Mexico doubled down on culture in 1979 with the opening of the Museo Rufino Tamayo in Oaxaca. Tamayo's art blended Mexican identity with modern global styles, proof that Mexico's creative scene wasn't trapped in folklore postcards. It was contemporary, experimental, and increasingly influential far beyond Latin America. By 1979, Mexican television had become a cultural superpower across Latin America. Telenovelas, variety shows, comedy programs. Mexico exported entertainment like other countries exported cars. Families gathered nightly around glowing television sets, while actors and singers became continental celebrities before social media even existed. Honestly, impressive efficiency. Nature reminded everyone who's really in charge when Hurricane Henri struck Mexico's Gulf Coast in September. Heavy rains and flooding disrupted communities and damaged infrastructure. But the response also highlighted Mexico's growing emergency coordination systems. Less glamorous than disco, perhaps, but considerably more useful during hurricanes. After Iran's revolution overturned the monarchy, the exiled Shah of Iran found temporary refuge in Mexico. Suddenly, Cuernavaca became part of one of the world's biggest geopolitical dramas. Mexico balanced diplomacy, humanitarian concerns, and international pressure, proving it could play quietly influential roles on the global stage. Mexico's political landscape kept evolving in 1979. Especially for women. Griselda Alvarez became the country's first female state governor, a landmark moment that challenged generations of political tradition. Progress was gradual, imperfect, and complicated, but undeniably happening. Mexican politics was starting to look a little less like an all-boys reunion. Mexico's oil discoveries transformed the economy almost overnight. President José López Portillo promised to administer abundance as petroleum exports surged and global demand exploded after the energy crisis. New wealth fueled optimism, giant infrastructure projects, and international influence. Mexico suddenly looked like an emerging energy giant, because it was. Then came the plot twist. In June 1979, the Ixtoc I offshore well suffered a catastrophic blowout in the Gulf of Mexico. Millions of barrels of oil leaked into the ocean for months. It became one of the largest oil spills ever recorded, a giant environmental warning delivered with terrifying efficiency. Mexico and the United States spent 1979 negotiating energy, migration, and trade with increasing intensity. Presidents Jimmy Carter and José López Portillo held high-profile meetings as Mexico's growing oil power changed regional dynamics. The conversations were polite, strategic, occasionally tense, basically international diplomacy in its natural habitat. The biggest story of Mexico in 1979? The arrival of Pope John Paul II. Millions flooded the streets during the first papal visit to Mexico in modern history. The trip reshaped relations between church and state and became an unforgettable emotional spectacle. Religion, politics, media, and mass culture all collided in one extraordinary week. Mexico in 1979 was balancing tradition and modernity at full speed. Oil wealth promised the future. Culture expanded globally. Politics shifted. Environmental disasters raised new questions. And millions of people filled the streets for moments that still echo decades later. One country, 1 year, and absolutely no shortage of drama. See you next episode.